Okay, we're meeting here this afternoon again. I'm Bill Sheron. I'm the Sheriff of Genesee County. This is Jeff McIntire, Coroner here in Genesee County. Just to give you a quick update on where we are with the plane crash that occurred on Friday. First of all, our condolences to the families of Steve and Elizabeth Barnes. Our hearts and sympathy go out to them. The FAA has been on site here since Friday afternoon. I know there's some talk out there regarding NTSB. They are not on the scene. However, the FAA is acting in their place. And the aircraft recovery arrived yesterday afternoon. Much of the aircraft that was in the surrounding area has been recovered and is going to be shipped to Tennessee for further examination by NTSB. Right now we are working on the crater area, in which the impact area from the aircraft. The water table at that site is quite high, so we're dealing with that. The excavation is ongoing. We hope to have the remainder of the aircraft removed probably within the next 2 days. I have to say that we have located some human remains. We're confident this time that the individuals that were on the plane were Stephen and Elizabeth. And that's about all I have for you right now. Again, thanks to the Corfu, East Pembroke, Darien fire departments. They're on the scene with us. And of course, emergency management here in Genesee County. I'll turn it over to Jeff for any comments.
Thanks, Sheriff. I'm not going to comment on what type of remains we've found, when it comes down to size and things like that. But we have found human remains. Those remains will go to the Monroe County Medical Examiner's office, where some DNA and things can be collected to confirm what we already believe to be true. With that, I'll open up to any questions if anybody's got anything.
Could you identify yourself again?
I can. I'm sorry. My name is Jeffrey McIntire.
And if I could, we have also recovered personal items of both of the occupants, identifying Elizabeth and identifying Steve.
Sheriff, perhaps maybe comment on what did the NTSB communicate to you about their decision not to come out here? What was the reason they gave?
I have not spoke directly to the NTSB. All my information is coming from the representatives from the FAA.
If you don't mind, I talked to the NTSB. I was able to talk to the GO team out of DC, and she said the reality is because of COVID and things like that. But what they did is they did in fact make the FAA part of, in essence, agents acting for them. So there's been talk about the NTSB not here investigating. The reality is it's still being investigated as if the NTSB was here anyway.
What's being done back here is identical to what the NTSB would be doing.
Are there any differences, though, with the NTSB not being here? Obviously, they lose some out at personnel, but is there anything procedurally that's different from you guys versus them?
No, for me, absolutely nothing's different. Again, the FAA, I would merely just have another person standing back there. I've got the FAA just kind of overwatching everything that we do. What the FAA is doing is every time we pull out a piece of aircraft, they're looking to see if it's something that they are trying to that it's maybe some sort of factor that could see if they're, what happened with the aircraft. But other than that, the NTSB would just be standing there doing the exact same thing the FAA is. And I'm not trying to lessen anybody's job by any means, but my point is the investigation would not change whatsoever if the NTSB was actually on site.
Jeff, of course, I've covered fatalities that you've been coroner on
Sure.
before. This is pretty unique. Just address how this is different from what you might typically deal with in a tragedy.
Sure. So the reality, this was the first time that I was involved with such a multi-agency response, and again, meaning talking with the FAA, talking with the NTSB, and working hand in hand with the sheriff's office, with the emergency manager's office. I've got a chief coroner out of Orleans County. I've got a forensic pathologist back there. I've got probably 3 or 4 different coroners on location here, to be honest with you. So just the pure aspect of how big this investigation is, that's really the unique part. To say that anything is being done with the investigation different than it would at a car accident or a house fire. It's not. It's being investigated as thoroughly as it would be any other time.
You mentioned the conditions earlier, water table, mud.
Sure.
Could you describe what it's like back there? How deep is it? Or
Sure. So, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, right now we're dealing with the impact site. And the best way to describe it is when that plane hit the ground, it literally burrowed itself into the ground. We're probably about 10 feet into the ground right now. Some reports are that when something like that hits the ground, the mud or the earth is lifted up, the plane goes in and the earth comes back down on it. So, and that's indicative of some of the things we're seeing with trees, with mud splatters and so forth. So right now, we still have a ways to go to get the whole aircraft out of there.
I know it was described as being a crater on Friday down there. You mentioned 10 feet down. I mean, where the human remains buried under dirt? I mean, could you describe just, I guess, how difficult it is to try to find, the
Sure.
people down there?
So the reality is my team got on site about 2:30 yesterday. And we did start to peel back some of the dirt and debris and stuff. We didn't get anything yesterday. The reality is today, probably maybe an hour in, we finally found our first piece of human remains. And we're just trying to, it's very muddy back there. So it's kind of hard differentiating between human remains and actually remains of the aircraft.
How has the weather impacted you mentioned the mud and
Sure. Well, to be honest with you, with the Corfu Fire Department, the East Pembroke Fire Department, and the Genesee County Emergency Management, they've been awesome in getting pumps back there, because we have to pump water out there, because as soon as we take some stuff out of the hole, it fills right back in with water. And obviously you can understand how that does hinder the investigation. So those guys have been key in essence trying to keep that hole from filling with water. But as for the weather, it's really been of no concern.
This has got to be a really emotional situation for you and everybody back there. Just describe what this means to you guys and how you're dealing with it.
Sure. I think with any fatality, it obviously hits home different for some people than others. But honestly, I'm just here trying to make sure that the Barnes family gets the closure that they need, and I can't speak for anybody else back there, to be honest with you. It's a very humbling experience to have this many people come together in this recovery effort. So I'm very thankful, especially for the sheriff and the support that he's given my office.
Are you able to say at this time, what led to the crash?
Oh, I can't comment on that at all. Yeah, I don't. The reality is I don't have anything to do with the actual aircraft. That's
strictly the FAA?
The FAA's, yeah, that's
That
correct.
will be the FAA and NTSB. And then this investigation, the final determination, I've been told, could take up to a year. Obviously, if they find the cause sooner than that, they'll be released. But we're probably going to be out here another 24 to 48 hours.
Is that something you think the agencies will communicate to your office once there is closure?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And again, as far as the scene back there, these individuals that have stepped up, the volunteers, it's incredible. And it's a typical Genesee County, when we have a tragedy like this, everybody steps up and works together. So we couldn't do it without them.
Do you know how many different agencies are out here? Obviously, you guys, FAA, volunteer groups. How many agencies? Who are they?
So I'm sorry. If I talk just about my team, again, I've got a chief coroner out of Orleans County. I've got a coroner and forensic anthropologist out of Wyoming County. I do have 2 other Genesee County coroners on scene. Let's see. I do have one of my team members was involved in 9/11, was involved in Katrina, and was involved in Egypt Air, whatever flight that was. I don't remember. And then the Clarence 3407. He was involved with the logistics of that, so he's actually my guy that's logging and cataloging all of my human remains. And then you've got the Corfu Fire Department. You've got the East Pembroke Fire Department. And mind you, all those people, both ladies and gentlemen back there, they're all volunteers. They're not getting paid to do this, so it's pretty awesome that they're here. Genesee County Sheriff's Office, Genesee County Emergency Management,
We've got
FAA.
State Police, East Pembroke Fire Department, Pembroke Fire Department, Corfu, Darien. I think we've covered them all. Again, like Jeff said, these are all volunteers that have stepped up to the plate to give us, the support.
And I'm not saying that we didn't miss any organization. There might be somebody else back there, but unfortunately, there's a lot of moving parts with this.
Are you confident that Steve and Elizabeth were the only individuals on the plane?
Absolutely.
I am confident, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the positioning of the plane? You said it burrowed itself into the ground. So, like, what was the positioning of the plane when you found it? Like, it's tail up in the air. Was there any fire?
I'll give that to the
involved?
sheriff.
The position of the plane is that it's in pieces. There is no one intact plane. This thing burrowed into the ground, and as it hit the ground, it disintegrated, basically.
Did it look like there was any fire, or did it just kind of flatten out and just break up because of the impact?
That's still being looked at. I can't say for certain there was a fire.
When did you restart your investigation this morning, or have you been going through the night, and how long will you continue today?
You restarted at about
8 o'clock this morning.
You mentioned that the FAA is taking the place of the NTSB. However, Congressman Higgins and Congressman Jacobs are calling for the NTSB to send representatives here. Do you believe that's a necessary measure?
I don't believe it's necessary at this time. I've been speaking with the FAA members back there, and we're so far into the process now that, like Jeff said, it would just be another body back there that's observing what's being taken out and deciding what needs to go for analysis and what isn't. I appreciate everybody's concern about that, but I think we're in pretty good hands.
And if I could comment on that as well, the FAA is going to have the same authority to make calls and stuff as the NTSB anyway, so it's not like we are not getting the support that we need just because the NTSB is not here, if that makes any sense.
On a typical crash scene, they work hand in hand.